Hey guys, Jessica here. So I am the owner of Genuine Lactation, and I am one of two lactation consultants that runs Wearable Pump Paperweight Prevention, which is a Facebook group dedicated to helping moms pick and operate the wearables that are going to best suit their situations. So in that group, I made a post asking for the comparisons that my group wanted to know about now because the pump market is rapidly changing. New wearables hit every day. It seems like I've got at least three new ones that I'm currently testing. It's a lot. But what I want to know is what pumping parents are actually looking at between the two because the marketing, I'm not always in touch with the marketing because I'm not the target market of pump companies anymore. So one of the top requested comparisons was Willow Go versus Eufy S1 Pro. So let's talk about the difference between these two. These two are wireless wearable smart pumps. Willow is not quite as smart as Elvie, but neither of them have sensors. So we're really dealing with like a remote controlled smart pump in terms of we have the ability to use the app to manage the programming on this and to run the pumps. You can run them both from the top. In terms of options from the top, you can actually see a lot more with the Elvie. Let me see if you can actually see, but they use lights. So it lights up. You can actually see exactly where you're at on this. You can see what mode you're in. You can see what level you're in. You can see if you're using the heat. But it works really well in terms of being able to operate this without the app, which is great for people who need to be able to walk away from their phone while they're pumping, because some workplaces will allow you to pump while you're working, but they won't allow you to have your phone. So this is pretty great. I would also point out when we're talking about that is that you've got access to several different programs or rhythms that you can run on the Eufy, and when you set that up in your phone, even when you turn it back on, it'll still run that program. So if you are somebody that needs a specific suction, you need the specific program, this is the pump for you if you need to be able to walk away. Willow Go does have an app. It's not my favorite app in the world. I just complained about it on another video the other day, but it does have an app. You can program the suction so that it automatically goes to your preferred setting. So if you are stimulation 3, expression 5 kind of person, you can go ahead and program that in. It works 50% of the time. I don't know. The Willow app needs a lot of work. They've really got to hire somebody who is like an expert in this app to get this app working correctly. It has not ever really been all that great. Um, and it's really starting to look bad in comparison. It was okay when the pump launched because there really wasn't a lot of competition. Both of these have the ability to pour quite easily from them. So with Willow, it's actually designed that you don't have to take the motor off to pour. There's a big pour spout and you just tip that in so you can empty it out, which you would want to do before you set this pump down, because this pump is held together by a plastic shell that is pushed onto a silicone rim. It can actually pull apart and come apart when you just set it on the counter, which would cause your milk to leak out the bottom, which risks not only your motor, but your milk being lost. So there is a pour spout there. LV had, or Eufy has an integrated pour spout here, but they do sell little caps that you can put in here. I would say these are about as leak resistant as they're going to get. These are both designed to sit in your bra. They have very different profiles though. So the Eufy is very round, but holds very nicely in a bra because it feels very balanced. Willow Go sits down a little bit lower, which helps, but also makes bra fit a little bit more of a challenge because it's very large down here at the bottom, which is actually where the majority of women carry most of the size in their breast tissue. So Eufy sits fairly evenly. This one definitely is a little bit more lopsided. So visually, you get a little bit better line with this. You're still going to look like Dolly Parton. This is one of the biggest pumps on the market. Eufy looks fairly small in comparison and honestly is much more discreet in terms of the visual presentation. But Willow Go is a little bit harder with bra fit. We have not had as many issues with bra fit with the Eufy as we have with the Willow Go. This also is a pump that has a heated integration feature. So Eufy S1 Pro has heating. It also has a charging case that you can get with it. Let me pull that from back here. So the office is always a mess because there's too many pumps these days, but you can actually charge them. And I actually love their case. So it just kind of snaps into place. So that's all you have to do. It works really, really well. I'm a huge fan of it. So it will allow you to kind of get everything lined up so that your pump charges while you're going. This one can charge with a battery bank, but you have to buy the battery bank separately, and you really want one that's going to have two like standard USB spots on it, which a lot of them don't, because you're going to want to use the Willow cords because this pump is known for having issues with charging with the wrong cord, causing it to die. Yes, Willow will replace it, but if you don't have a warranty, if it's out of warranty, or if you just don't like dead pumps because that's an inconvenience, then you're going to want to use the Willow cords, and that is harder because a lot of battery banks only have one spot in them. They both have pretty good batteries. Like if you were to take it away with no charging case and no battery bank, they both last a couple pump sessions. Neither one is like particularly long. If you're using the heating feature on this, you're probably going to get about an hour to 90 minutes of pump time. If you're using just this, it doesn't have a heating feature. I mean, it actually, it does get warm up here, but it's not on purpose. It's the battery and the charging issues. So it does get warm, but it's not supposed to. You're still going to get about 60 to 90 minutes out of it. It's not terrible. It's pretty average for the battery sizes in these pumps. They both have about the same suction range. They both have, this has faster cycle speeds. Eufy S1 Pro has much faster cycle speeds. Where these two pumps really start to differ is the programming. So Willow Go, you have stimulation expression. You can switch between the two. It's automatically set to 2-minute stimulation and then goes over to expression and won't change itself again unless you hit the mode button. In terms of programming, this is an ancient dinosaur of a wearable pump. Willow needs to get this fixed. They need to update and innovate unless they want to be the next prehistoric pump on the market, which they are quickly headed to if they don't start innovating. This is still one of the top pumps because it is one that we know how to operate. We know all of its flaws and we know how to work with them, and their warranty is great. But that doesn't mean that it is going to be able to continue to compete if they don't do something to change it. Eufy S1 Pro has some of the most advanced pump programming on the market. It's actually a really novel program in that you have the ability to run different rhythms, which changes how often it automatically cycles between stimulation and expression. So they have a mode that is a lot like Willow, where it's 2 minutes of stimulation and then a longer period of expression. But the one that I am like in love with on the Eufy and I'm seeing work really well across a lot of moms is the natural program. So it's 5 minutes stimulation, 5 minutes expression. In order to get the maximum benefit from a pump like Willow Go, you have to be mindful of going back to stimulation periodically to trigger those next letdowns. If you don't, then that is actually one of the places that we get the inefficiencies with a wearable, is that in order to just be pumping on autopilot, it doesn't really happen if the pump is not a true smart pump running programming to handle that for you. The first pump we saw that really kind of did that was the LV Original. And its rhythms worked really, really well, but it was a $500 pump with 2019 issues that have not been resolved to date. Now that Willow has acquired LV, we'll see what happens there. I don't know. But Eufy gave us the same option in a less expensive pump. It's only about $350, and they have a lot of discount codes out there. It's on sale quite a bit. So it gives us the same programming at a lower price point than LV, and it's working really, really well. Combined with the fact that this is like the S32 body style, which we are seeing be a fairly successful universal shape for a wearable pump. I think we're actually going to see a lot of companies bringing different versions of that. Some of them are going to be good innovations because if you have a body shape that works and then you focus on the motor and the suction pattern and the programming, you could create a winning pump even if it looks like something that's already on the market. If you just bring anything or everything to the market and you don't really test it, you don't really know what you're doing or know what's needed for wearables, you could have the next S32 paperweight with your brand on it. And I think we'll see some of those this year too. But this one gives us really advanced programming. You have the ability to turn the heat on, you have the ability to turn the heat off. The app works really, really smoothly with the Eufy. One of the things I love, because Eufy does have other pumps, Willow makes it really hard, even though there's a lot of people using the Willow 360 and the Willow Go. You have to switch between those pumps and it's really clunky and complicated, and the app just never wants to work right or connect. It never wants to read the pumps. It's kind of ridiculous. But the Eufy one does really, really well because I've got the S1 Pro hooked up to it and I've got the E10 hooked up to it, and I just switch between them with no problems. It doesn't give me any issues, which is amazing. It's very convenient because a lot of moms will find that they're using multiple pumps from the same brand. And my hope is that Eufy has done so well with their launch. I'm hoping that they're going to bring new things to the market because I really think that this is a company that is actually listening to feedback and making adaptations. Um, you do still have your standard stimulation and expression on this, but stimulation is a little bit different than Willow stimulation. So Willow stimulation is just up and down, that sawtooth pattern we all know. On Eufy, it's short pulls with a long pull, but the long pull is not super aggressive. And what I love on the stimulation mode for the Eufy is that for my more sensitive moms who need the lower stimulation and the lower levels, it's not super noticeable. I did not notice it until I was several levels in and was like, oh, that's what's happening. It just felt like it was maybe not as steady of a pattern as average because that long pull is not intense. You don't have a regular sawtooth stimulation though. So if you're somebody who does not like that, that may not be the pump for you. I would also, let's see, what else is there about these two pumps? I like them both. I have a lot of clients using them both. Vibration. Willow Go has vibration to it. It's intentional. The motor is not super well mounted in this pump, and it literally creates a mechanical vibration against your breast. Eufy has like ever so slight vibration, like most wearables do, just because there's a limit to how well you can stop the motor from vibrating if it's running. The only way we've really found to make it vibration free is to make it not run, which doesn't help us. Uh, it does have a very, very light vibration, but on the S1 Pro, this flange right here is like a skin-like silicone. It's very thick and it's more rigid than what we see with like a regular standard silicone. So it definitely is a case of we may not feel the vibration as much with the S1 Pro. So if you are somebody who needs vibration, Willow may beat that out. Like I said, these two are both solid options. Honestly, between the two of them, I tend to find myself recommending the S1 Pro more often these days, unless somebody really needs the vibration or unless there's something about that mixed mode on stimulation that they don't like. Oh, the other thing, you have more choice of cycle speeds with Eufy. So Willow gives you, you have their simulation settings, you have their expression settings. On Eufy, you have stimulation and expression, but you can change the cycle speed between fast, medium, and slow, which means that even though these pumps are the same size, Eufy has infinitely more options to help really narrow this pump down to work for your body. Whereas with Willow Go, it's a pretty simple, either this pattern works for you or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, there is nothing we can do. There is still a little bit of that element with the Eufy that, you know, if the Eufy doesn't work for you, if we can't make those settings work for you, there's not much we can do. But the amount of things we have to play with to try and make it work is a lot higher with the Eufy S1 Pro. So that's kind of my thoughts on the two of those. If you are struggling to choose a pump, we do have a live workshop coming up at the end of April on choosing a breast pump, where we teach you not how to choose just between the pump features that are on the market today, but all of the questions that you're going to want to ask, whether you're buying a pump today, tomorrow, 10 years from now. It's everything you would want to ask before deciding which piece of durable medical equipment are you going to entrust your ability to feed your baby to. So we would love to have you there. If you have any questions, please post down below. If you have any thoughts between the two, if you've used them both, please let us know your thoughts so that other moms can see those comments and see how it's working for everybody, because that is a huge part of, you know, helping you pick your pump, is seeing what actual users are saying. But hopefully this helps somebody, and happy pumping.